Now we invite you to listen to the adventures of the Falcon as Mike Waring solves the case of the faded rose.
There's one thing you learn working as a private detective. Competition can be the death of trade. As a case in point, I give you Phil Stacy. Mr. Stacy is the pudgy little character mounting the third-floor stairs of the Belmar, a shabby rooming house on New York's west side. He's a private detective, too, but Stacy's got the edge on a boy like me. He carries along his own personal Watson. Only this one goes under the name of Tony Marino.
Sure this is the right girl, Tony? Absolutely, Mr. Stacy. I showed the picture to the janitor. He says it's a Nancy Ford, all right.
When'd she get here?
On the 12th.
Well, that checks. What if I could hit her sister for another 100?
Huh?
Oh, skip it. Where do we go from here?
Well, there's still out room down the hall.
She's in now?
Yeah. I followed her here from the pawn shop.
What pawn shop?
Along 3rd Avenue. She bought a gun.
Why, you idiot. Why didn't you tell me that before?
Oh, what difference does it make?
Ah, you stupid. Never mind. Is this it?
Yeah.
Miss Ford. You sure she's in?
Oh, what do you want me to do? Swear on her Bible? I thought
Miss Ford, my name is Phil Stacy. I'm working for your sister. Listen, Nancy. You got your sister crazy with worry. Now, if you'd open this door...
How was that?
That's what you think. Give me your hand.
Look, Stacy, let's get
jab
out.
and put your shoulder to it. Come on, now, 1, 2, cut out.
Oh, no.
Don't touch her.
I wasn't going to. Is she dead?
Well, that's the stupidest question of the year. Find the phone and call her sister, Carol Ford. No, on second thought, just call the cops. I'll handle sis. Who's there?
Carol Ford.
Oh, come in. Come in, Miss Ford. I wasn't expecting you this early.
I came as soon as I got your call.
Oh, well, sit down. Sit down. Would you like something to drink?
No, thanks.
Sure, I got some vodka, a little orange
Look,
juice.
Mr. Stacy, this isn't a social call, so I'd like to get right down to business. You told me you found my sister.
Yeah, I did. One of my boys traced her to Chicago. Let me see. Yeah, March 14th, she grabbed the California Limited from Los Angeles. She met this guy at the depot, and the two of...
I'm not particularly interested in details. Where's Nancy now?
Well, she got to New York on the 12th.
Where is she now?
Well, that raises a peculiar point.
You've lost track of her?
No, not exactly. As a matter of fact,
Well?
Well, I don't know how to say this, Miss Ford, but this guy your sister ran away with must have given her a bad time. You know how young girls are. Probably promised.
Are you trying to tell me she's dead?
Yeah. Yeah, she committed suicide this afternoon.
I see.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's how things work out sometimes.
Yes, they do, don't they?
Well, I must say I admire the way you're taking it.
Would it help Nancy if I got hysterical?
No, I guess not. Look, if there's any way I can help...
Yes, there is. What was the name of the man who was responsible?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say...
I would. Who is he?
His name is Duke Mandel.
Have you any idea where this Mr. Mandel can be found?
Yeah, he's got a room at the Haywood. Why?
Well, I'm going to see to it that if my sister couldn't have him in life, perhaps he can join her in death. Thanks for your assistance, Mr. Stacy. Just mail my bill to the hotel. I'd like to speak to Duke Mandel, please.
You want to know?
You don't know me, Mr. Mandel, but I'm a friend of Jane Smith.
Jane Smith? I never heard of her.
I was sure you'd say that. Jane warned me you knew so many girls her name would probably mean nothing.
What's yours?
Carol Gleason.
Oh, what can I do for you, honey?
Well, Jane made me promise that when I got to New York, I'd give you a call.
Well, that was nice of her.
I know you'll think I'm shameless, but I do want to meet you. Jane told me. Well, never mind.
Go on. What were you going to say?
I'll tell you when I see you. There I go again. You must think I'm awful.
No, I think you're wonderful. I like a girl who speaks right up. You doing anything tonight?
Not a thing. Could we meet at the Central Park Boathouse at 9?
Why that?
It's such a romantic spot.
Okay, the boathouse it is.
Till 9 then.
Hey, wait a minute, Carol. How will I know you?
Don't worry about that, Mr. Mandel. I'll know you. With all I've heard, I couldn't possibly miss.
Mandel? That's right. I'd like you to have one of my cards. Phil Stacy, licensed private investigator. So I got a proposition for you. Look, Buster, I got a date. I wouldn't keep it if I was you. What are you talking about? Would you happen to have a cigarette handy? Yeah. Ever have a girl named Nancy Ford? No. That's funny. Because she committed suicide yesterday over some guy. Do tell. Yeah, I figured he must have given her a real song and dance about the little rose-covered cottage. And when he wouldn't perform, she blew her brains out. How do you know so much about it? Well, you saw my card. I'm a private dick. Who hired you? Her sister. She don't like you, Duke. I'm worried. Well, you would be if you knew what I do. Such as? No, I'm not spilling unless I get paid. I want $500. How do I know it's worth it? You like living? Go on. Well, $500 will guarantee it. Will you take a check? Don't be funny. I only got 120 on me. Yeah, when'll I get the rest? Tomorrow, if your information is legit. All right, fork it over. 20, 40, 50, 100, 20. All right. Well, like I said, when Carol Ford left my office, she hinted she was going to take care of you. She was just talking. No, not her. This is one little girl who believes in action. I tailed her when she left. She went down to a gin mill on 34th Street, and she saw a fellow named Joe Milo. Who's that? Hood. They had a nice long talk. What makes you think I was the subject? I got good long ears. Then she went to a phone booth, and who do you think she called? Me. That's right. Mm-hmm. All right, Stacy, let's have that dough. What dough? That 120 I just gave you. Oh, now, wait a minute. I can't afford to. Hey, cut that. You little chiseler. Who do you think you were dealing with? Money alone. Come on, hand it over before I break every bone in your body. I promise you won't be able to talk for a week if you don't quit stalling. What do you say? Do you want some more? No, don't. I knew you'd see the light. Now make it fast, Stacy. I got a call to make. I'm looking for Mike Waring. Who wants him? Duke Mantell. Duke Mantell? He'll know. I'm an old buddy of his from Chicago. Funny, you never mentioned your name. Does he tell you everything? Practically. You might say we're inseparable. You're not the Falcon. Want a bet? Gotta talk to you. Why did you claim to be a friend of mine? Well, they told me you were a tough man to see. Can't be that tough. You made it on the first try. Look, I was just kidding. I hope you're not sore. Me? No, I can go along with the gag. Come on in. Thanks. Sit down. Don't mind if I do. I hear tell you're the finest private dick in these parts. Is that what you hear tell? Mm-hmm. So when this little problem came up, I figured you were just the boy to handle it. What problem? You see, a couple of years ago, I got involved in a mess. Nothing illegal, you understand, but if the papers got a hold of it, it might be kind of embarrassing. Why? Well, I'm about to be married to a dame whose family is real social registered. This might put the kibosh on the deal. You being blackmailed? That's right. Who's behind it? Got no idea. I'm supposed to meet this party in front of the Central Park Boathouse at 9 tonight. She asked me to bring $1,000. She? Yeah, it's a girl. You're not going to pay off. How would you handle it? I'd latch onto her and turn her over to the police. Okay, why don't you? Why don't I what? Latch onto her. You show up in my place. Why should I? Well, with your experience, you'd know exactly what to do. I don't like it. If you're scared, why? Scared? Well, in one breath, you tell me the only thing to do is grab the dame. Then when I offer you the job, you turn it down. Look, Mandel, I don't know what you're up to, but I told you I'm being blackmailed, and I want you to handle it. Well, it's against my better judgment. I knew I could count on you. I'm staying at the Haywood. After you get through in the park, give me a jingle.
a gentleman around here about your size?
Won't I do?
I'm afraid not.
You wouldn't be hunting for Duke Mantell, would you?
How would you know?
Who should know better?
You mean you're...
That's right.
I don't believe it.
Why not?
You're nothing like I imagined.
Is anybody?
You're quite the philosopher, aren't you? Suppose I told you I was Nancy's sister.
I wonder if she'd boast about it.
How can you have the nerve to stand there and talk like that?
I wouldn't be so moral. After all, you're a blackmailer.
I'm a what?
Well, didn't you come here?
I came here for only one reason, and that was... Mr. Mantell. Mr. Mantell!
Well, Mom always told me I'd get into trouble pretending to be what I ain't. Here I pretended to be Duke Mantell and received a slug for my pains. But the next thing I knew was some 2 hours later when I heard bells ringing in the distance. I knew I couldn't be in heaven because that was no angel bending over me. How do you feel, pal? Sergeant Corbett? Yeah. Where am I? What happened? Which do you want me to answer first? Wait a minute. It's all coming... Oh! Hey, you better watch it, fella. One of these days, the government's going to claim you for a defense project. Well, you got enough lead in you to build a B-29. Where is she? Where's who? The brunette I was talking to. Well, there was nobody around when we found you. What's her name? I don't know. I didn't get it. What was it, a pickup? No, I had an appointment to meet her. She the one who plugged you? No, the shot came from the other side of the boathouse. You think it might have been her husband? I tell you, it was nothing like that. She thought I was a boy named Duke Mantell. Well, if your purpose was to confuse me, Mr. Waring, you succeeded. This Mantell claimed someone was shaking him down. I was to pose as him and meet the blackmailer. When I showed, there was this gal. Well, what were you expecting? Nothing like what I got. You have no idea who she is. Not at all. But I'm going to find out. Hey, wait a minute. You can't leave like that. You're forgetting something. I can't see what? Your pants. You better wear them tonight, baby. It's awful cold outside. Remember me? Waring. That's right. What happened? What didn't? You might be interested in learning I kept that date for you last night. It was a nice piece of work. What are you talking about? Setting me up for a clay pigeon. Setting you up? Yeah, someone who thought I was you took a shot at me. Can't believe it. Would you like me to bleed a little to prove it? Well, there must be some mistake. Yeah, it was all mine. I should have spotted that blackmail story of yours for a phony. You knew someone was gunning for you. Now, who was it? What difference does it make? What difference does it make? Maybe you don't think much of breathing, but I kind of like it, and I resent anyone trying to break me of the habit. Now, who's the girl? None of your business. Oh, we'll see about that. Get your coat. Don't talk like a chump. What? I wouldn't try that again. You didn't have that arm in a sling. Don't let that stop you, Duke. It won't. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I see. And what do you intend to do with that gun? Well, I'm a funny kind of a guy, Waring. While I might have objections to slugging a cripple, I got none to plugging one. Now get. Hi, Waring. Who the devil? Wait a minute. It's not Phil Stacy. Yeah. What happened to your puss? Oh, I had a little accident. You mind if I join you? I certainly do. No, you don't want to talk like that. We're practically fraternity brothers. I don't remember asking you to sit down. What happened to your shoulder? Look, Stacy, if you're not out of here... But how would you like me to put you in touch with the girl who's responsible? What are you talking about? Well, you met a dame last night in Central Park. How would you know? She was my client. Say that again? You heard me. She came to me a couple of weeks ago. She wanted me to locate her kid's sister. Seems she ran away with some guy. Duke Mantell? Yeah. And when he wouldn't make with the ring department, she committed suicide. When I reported that to my client, naturally, she was quite miffed. She spoke about getting even. Who is she? Wouldn't you like to know? That's why I asked. Is it worth a couple of bills? Yeah. Well, where's the bill? You'll have to trust me. I got hung up once that way. I want cash on the line. Okay. Now, what's her name? Carol Ford. find her at the Belmar. I don't know for how long, though. So if I were you, Pally, I'd get on my horse.
Yes?
Hello, Carol. Remember me?
I can't say that I do.
Maybe that's because it was dark out the last time we met.
You're Duke Mantell.
No, my name is Mike Waring.
But you
It's
said...
a long story, Angel, and I just as soon sit while I tell it. I was working for Mantell. He claimed he was being blackmailed, and he asked me to pose for him at the payoff.
He was lying.
So I've discovered. You arranged to meet Mantell so someone could plug it.
That's a lie.
I got the story from Phil Stacy. Now, who's the boy you hired?
All right, Mr. Waring, I'll tell you the truth.
It's about time someone did.
I did arrange to have Mantell killed, but later I thought it over and tried to call off my man.
What happened?
I couldn't reach him. That's why I showed up at the park early to warn you.
I don't believe it.
Don't be a fool. If I'd wanted you killed, I wouldn't have been there at all.
Nevertheless, your boy took a shot at me.
He couldn't have. He was due to meet me at 9. You were shot at 8:30.
It doesn't make sense. If your boy didn't do it, then who did?
What about Mr. Mantell?
What about him?
Suppose Duke was the one who shot you.
What would be the point?
So I'd get the credit. That would dispose of me and leave him free to go on his way.
Yeah. If you got sent up for knocking me off, that might suit him fine.
What do you think?
I think if there's anything to your theory, Mr. Mantell and I ought to have another chat. Only this time, I'll have the gun. So long, Carol. I'll be seeing you.
Just a second. You Duke Mantell?
That's right.
Well, I must say, this is a pleasure.
Who the devil are you?
Now, Jackie Winters is my name.
Well, whatever you're selling...
Oh, I'm not selling anything, Mr. Mantell. No, I'm giving these away, and for free.
What's the idea of the gun?
Well, I thought you might be interested in my merchandise.
Look, Winters.
You know, there's a certain somebody in town that's awful peeved at you. And I can't rightly say as I blame the party either. Why don't you get a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People?
What's the use? They can't read.
Oh, that's a shame. Because there ain't time for you to learn now.
Now, look, Winters, maybe we can work out a deal. I'll give you $1,000 for that gun.
Are you trying to bribe me?
2,000.
Well, I've never been so insulted in all my life.
2,500. It's my last offer.
Honestly, you got it on you?
Yeah. Just let me get my coat.
No, just let me.
Now, listen, Winters.
What pocket do you keep your wallet? Oh, Mr. Mandel. I'm surprised at you. You tried to take advantage of me.
Now, look, I can explain that gun.
You told me your wallet was here. Well, it just goes to prove now you can't trust a Yankee.
Oh. Just a minute. Hiya, Mike. Sergeant Kroeger. You busy? Yeah, I was just going out. Well, why don't we go together? No, this is one little job I... Hey, what's the idea? Oh, just wanted to see if you were loaded. Look, Sergeant, this isn't like you. What's on your mind? You went over to see Duke Mantell tonight, didn't you? Yes. What happened? Nothing. You take a bullet intended for him and try to tell me nothing happened. I had no choice. He pulled a gun. Where's yours? What are you getting at? Mantell was murdered an hour ago. You're kidding. Oh, that must mean you're stuck for Nancy. I don't know anything about it. Lieutenant Coram thinks you do. That idiot. Well, you're promoting him. Last week he was only a jerk. Well, if he thinks I killed Mantell... That he does. Crazy. Why should I? Well, Duke set you up for a clay pigeon. I gave up that idea. For what? Suppose Mantell was behind the plot all along. Suppose he was the one who took the shot at me. What would be the point? To frame Carol Ford. If I were you, Mike, I'd stick to the original story. If he was the one who plugged you, that gives you an even stronger motive to kill him. Well, no, I only... No, don't say another word. I know talk is cheap, but your dialogue can cost you your life. Now, let's go.
In a moment, we'll return to the adventures of the Falcon. Now back to the adventures of the Falcon.
I guess there's no pleasing some people. But when When Sergeant Corbett nominated me for the position of killer of Duke Mantell, my own client, I tried to decline the honor. But Corbett felt sure his superior, Lieutenant Coram, wouldn't hear of it.
Boy, I'd certainly hate to be in your shoes. When Coram gets his hands on you...
Look, Sergeant, you can't be serious about this.
Oh, I wish there was some way I could convince you.
But you know I couldn't kill anybody.
Why, sure. But go try to convince Lieutenant Coram.
Wait a second. What made Coram pick on me?
He got a tip from a girl named Carol Ford. Seems you were up to see her, and when you left, you threatened dire consequences for one Duke Mantell. Naturally, I rushed over to give him protection.
And when you got there, he was dead.
That's right. On relaying this to my superior officer, he immediately jumped to the conclusion that you were responsible.
He's crazy.
I agree. But what can I do?
So, in the final analysis, Carol Ford is the one I have to thank for this.
That's who you got to thank.
You suppose we could drop over and see her before we hit headquarters?
Well, I don't know. It's out of the way.
But don't worry, Sergeant. I'm sure Carol will make it worth your while.
Yes?
Hello, Miss Ford.
To where?
And company.
Mind if we come in?
I most certainly do.
I wouldn't be too strenuous in my objections, Angel. This gentleman is with the police.
Does he have a warrant?
I don't need one.
Now, look here.
Yeah. Look.
Hi, Jeff.
Well, if it isn't Phil Stacy, what are you doing here?
None of your business.
Maybe I can guess. He came up here with some advice.
Is there anything wrong with that?
That all depends. Now, purely as a guess, I'd say you were tipping her off to skip town.
How would you know that?
Well, he probably showed you that the murder of Duke Mantell might have the cops around asking embarrassing questions.
Looks like I was right.
Yeah. Too bad your timing was off.
I'm sorry, Miss Ford.
You should be. If you were 20 minutes earlier, we would have missed her.
Look, Waring, you got the wrong angle on this. If you think she's responsible for Duke Mantell's murder...
No, I don't.
I assume...
That's because you wanted to.
Look, Mike, you know what you're talking about.
I think so, Sergeant. Just ask yourself this question. What would you have thought if you found Miss Ford gone?
Well, that she was guilty.
Which is just what Stacy wanted you to think.
What are you babbling about?
You killed Mandel.
What, are you nuts?
If I am, it comes from dealing with squirrels like you. All right, Sergeant, take him to his cage.
I'm afraid I'm completely baffled.
Well, move over, Carol. You've got company. Why did you tip off the police that I headed in for Duke Mantell?
I didn't want to see you make the same mistake I almost made.
I see.
Well, I don't. I can't believe Stacy was responsible for Mantell's murder.
You better. If he didn't do it, then by a process of elimination, it has to be you.
In that case, I'm glad you settled on him. But he had no motive.
It was that pasting Mantell gave him. When you left the office making threats, he tipped off Mantell, expecting to be remunerated. But all he got for his pains was a shellacking. A guy like Stacy takes a thing like that personally.
Then he was responsible for shooting at you at the park.
That he was. He thought I was Mantell. Then when he discovered his mistake, he sent a friend of his named Jack Winters to remedy it. He felt sure he'd never be suspected.
What made you pick on him?
There were three reasons. One, he was on top of every play. When it looked as though I came to a blind alley, he came up with your name. And then that final bit of his telling you to skip town. He just wanted you to incriminate yourself.
You said there were three reasons. You've only given two.
Well, you were the only woman in the case. And if you were guilty, I'd have had to wind up with Sergeant Corbett. Believe me, Angel, it works out much better this way.